Hi everybody! And so today we're doing a movie review today, and I just saw the Conjuring 3, so I'm going to be talking about it and tell my review about it. If you guys have not heard about the Conjuring 3, then you guys don't know much about it. Well, so The Conjuring talks about Ed and Lorraine Warren about their investigation on the paranormal activities. And so this one is the third one, talks about the devil made me do it. So it talks about how this boy who was named David, who was 8 years old, he was possessed back in 1981 in where he lives. And so what happened was that Ed and Lorraine Warren tried to save him, but then all of a sudden, during trying to save him, somehow Arnie, who was the friend of the family's, got possessed because he didn't want the little boy to be troubled, so he told the demon to take him instead. And then that's when Ed suffered from a heart attack, he witnessed transferring the demon to Artie. And then that's when he wakes up and realizes that Artie is now possessed. Well, so during the show, we see that there's a lot of stuff going on where you see Artie kind of going through changes to where now he realized that he's not alone, he's possessed. And then he kills somebody. And but then all of a sudden he gets charged with murder, and also he's going to be on the death penalty. But then all of a sudden, Lorraine and Ed Warren went to his counselor and told him that it could be where it was a fault but the thing is that the lawyer says, well, I can't say that. I can't go up to court and says, hey, somehow we can't say that due to this crime he was possessed. Because somehow evidence pointed to him and everything. He wasn't going to get off the death penalty or anything else. But then that's when Ed and Lorraine Warren told him about what they do and everything, and then next thing you know, she starts believing in him. So she helps out. So Ed and Lorraine Warren wanted to know more about how it all started. How did this happen? So what happened was that somehow when they moved in, the family who moved in, that was David's family, moved in the house, it started out that way when it began on the first day that they moved. And then it gradually became more dangerous until then. So it was very weird about that. But then they found a totem. They found a tiny little witchcraft, and it was a totem for curse. That's what Lorraine says. And then finds out that whatever this is, it's very dangerous. Very is. But so continuing, so she and Ed, they traveled back to Massachusetts, and they find a case that was similar to Artie's, where there was two girls that were. One was murdered and one disappeared. And somehow the girl who was dead, she was stabbed 23 times. And somehow we have no idea where the girl went or anything. Everything was gone. But then they found her. Tenley Lorraine helped them out and find out the girl was underneath the lake, and she was pronounced dead. But then, and that's when Lorraine and Ed Warren found out that somehow there had to be a connection to all of this and what was going on and what was happening. And then that's when they found out, to where they talked to the preacher, and what happened was that it was part of a satanic group that was the House of Ram, I think that's what it's called, or I think it was something about the ram. And so the child of the ram, or the god, I don't know, the sanctum of the ram or something, that's what it said, or the red. But so they talked to this preacher who was studying on the cult and everything and why they were doing this and what are they and what they do. And it was beyond what he believed. It was very satanic in so many ways. And so, in doing so, it was very, very, very wrong. But, continuing. The show basically came to where it was, we found out more to where somehow we found out that the preacher's daughter, he actually had a daughter. And his daughter was named Lola. And during the whole show, he was saying that in his work, his daughter became so infatuated by the cult that she started to become a cultist and became part of them. And his work kind of made her into the bad person herself. And during so, at the end, they did stop the bad guy. They did stop her, but the curse was basically broken, and then next thing, Artie was not possessed no more, and doing so, he got manslaughter doing that because he didn't actually committed the act. He didn't have vicious thoughts of killing him, but he did do the act. So he had to do 5 years in prison, but he still buried the love of his life, and they lived on. And so did Ed and Lorraine Warren. Honestly, during my whole review of this movie, there was parts of it that didn't really kind of made awareness to it or something, didn't make it aware. But part of it was that about the totems, where they found the demoniacal tokens, where they found the little deviling thing or something like the bone things. Because we don't know who put them there. We still don't know who put them there. But there's a theory where I think it could be where the person who committed the crime, must have, who did the first murder, puts it in there, or it was her that put it in there. We don't know how the things got there in the first place, so that's kind of like a little bit weird, a little bit. But also, there was parts of it that was missed a little bit in the show. I did love how the shows kind of showed how years have passed since when Ed and Lorraine Warren did the first Conjuring. The first Conjuring was back in the 60s or something. And then you got the one, it was the Conjuring 2. And then you got this one it was in the 1981. And so I love this one because it was proven to where you can see the age, how Ed and Lorraine Warren are aging and they're still doing this job and everything. And I love that part because we always want to know what the characters will look like now before the first movie. And I kind of did love that a little bit. But also it talked about how their passion for what they're doing is so incredible that it made a racistic thing. And so, yeah, I do respect that 100%. Sorry that this thing is... But doing so, it became such a honorable thing and stuff, and I do respect that a lot. Continuing it, there was parts of it that we still don't understand how, we kind of figured that, we all know it was Layla, that was the preacher's daughter that did this, but we also know that she was, part of it, but also knowing that even though the work of her fathers came to her past, but what did really got her into it? What actually did got her into it? That's the one thing about it. But also, I love the parts where Lorraine showed her powers into it, where we seen, because if you and I see the first movie, we actually kind of see where she was a medium too, but also she's a sensitive. She can sense things, where if she touches things, there's a connection where she feels or hears or feels anything and sees something, she can feel like a presence and stuff. And I loved how we showed how she would go into different areas and to learn where she's going and stuff. And I love that. And also knowing that somehow it was really cool how she did it, because the second movie didn't show much, but the first one did show a little bit. But now I love this one where it did show more about her powers and what she was capable of. And I loved learning about that. If you guys did not know about this movie, this was actually based on true events about a case back in 1991 where this boy who was convicted of a crime, but he said the devil made him do it. And so, honestly, if you guys did not think of it, every time when there's a court case, every time when the person stands up and when they place their hand on the Bible, they're saying, you just tell the truth about the truth, so help you God. And every name God's name means that you have to tell the truth. And that's part of it. But also now we have to tell the court that the devil can be recognized. And this was the first American case that had to be proven that demon possession can cause someone. So it was very cruciating, and it was part of the Ed and Lorraine Warren's career, because I think this one made their career skyrocket. Really big in this whole Conjuring series and stuff. And so yes. But the one thing I really wanted to know is more about Ed and Lorraine Warren. I wish continuing in that moment, but after the end, I did kind of look up to where they did not have a post credit, but they were supposed to, but they deleted it because certain things they want to make all the other movies not you have to guess what's gonna happen. And so yeah, but doing that, I get the feeling we're gonna have a number 4 coming soon. I can't wait for it. But also during all this show and stuff, I get the feeling that Ed and Lorraine Warren, I think we should all, I wish there was a movie about how they started out. There was a small little scene about how they first met, but I wanted to see how they actually grown from this Conjuring to the first. I wanted to see how their first, like, ever, like, what was, like, even though each of these was really horribly bad and very gruesome, but I wish we learned more about how their love for each other and everything grew so much over the years of being in love with each other and doing what they do and to protect people. And I wish we learned more about it, because it makes us more aware of the actual what they did in their young lives and everything, and learned how they first met, and learning that. And it's very cosmetic that we need to know about this, because I still think there's still loopholes still to where I want to learn more about the Ed and Warren family timeline. And so, yeah, I'm going to give this probably like a 8 out of 10 movie, because there's some parts of it that were missed, but also there was good parts in it, and it was very scary, y'all. I don't think I'm going to be going to sleep tonight, but honestly, it was not as bad as I thought it would be, but it was okay. It wasn't like really fast paced. It was very, I think they took their time with this one. I think it took, like, they didn't leave out some stuff, but they leave a little bit stuff out to where it didn't, like, the one thing about it was the connection. How was this, what was this case from this case that the girl was killed to this case where Arnie Johnson was part of it? So that didn't make any sense about it, to where how it was all about the totem, but how did the totem get there to here? So it kind of made it aware of it. But I think the case, I think what one of it was that she joined, it was all about but I think it was because of the cult, because there was a cult down there in Massachusetts, I think, or something, and that's probably what they're trying to say was the cult, and it was part of the connection to it. So I'm hoping so. So I do believe this movie was 100% worth it going seeing. If you guys don't, that's up to you. But if you guys don't, it's okay, since this movie is so hard to understand. So yes. So that's my overview of The Conjuring a little bit. And so I do recommend this movie. So yeah. If you guys have any movies or anything that you guys want me to see or anything, or do a review on it, post it down below. I kind of want to know you guys what you're thinking of and what you're saying. And so, mostly, yeah. So I hope you guys have a lovely, lovely day. I'll see you again. And there's more to come. Happy Friday. So, bye.